Welcome back, and today we are in a very exciting session, and we are dealing with polynomials. Well, MATLAB has a set of functions, okay, for polynomials. A set of functions used for polynomial functions, okay. But before using those functions, you should be able to know how MATLAB interprets polynomial in the context of those functions. It's important to understand that it is in the context of those functions, okay. So when you want to use those functions, you should know how MATLAB interprets the input polynomials thereof. Well, just to remind ourselves, polynomials are functions of the form. If I say p of x, right, they are functions of the form ax squared, or let me say ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d, right? And this will be a polynomial of degree what? Of degree 3, right? Good. So they are functions of this form. Again, this is not a mathematics class, it's just a reminder, right? Good. So the way MATLAB will see polynomials in the context of this function is to create an array that contains the coefficients of each of the x values, okay, not an array, let me say a vector, better, it's a vector that contains the coefficient of each of these of the different x's in descending order, okay, of the variable x in descending order. So what does that mean? It means in this case, for example, the representative vector of this particular polynomial p of x will be something like v is equal to a comma b comma c comma d, right? So this is to indicate in MATLAB, okay, this is to indicate that v represents a polynomial of a, right, times x to the power 3. Good. So what will you notice? You'll notice that the array here, the vector here is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? The same way here, right? So what does it mean? It means that the length of a particular vector, if it is 4 elements, then we're talking of a polynomial of power, the length of the vector minus 1, right? So if it is 1, 2, 3, 4, we're talking of a polynomial x cubed. If it is 3 values, we're talking of a polynomial x squared. If it was 5 values, we're talking of a polynomial of degree what's that? 4, right? So it will always be polynomial of degree number of elements in the vector minus 1. Is very important. No matter how you write it, if you write just 2 values, MATLAB will interpret it as a polynomial of degree 1. If you write just 3 values in your array, it will be a polynomial of degree 2, right? Where each value that you is the coefficient of the respective, each value represented, sorry, is the coefficient of the corresponding x raised to the power constant. So here will be x raised to the power of higher degree, right? Is a coefficient of x raised to the power of higher degree. So here you have ax cubed, which is this a here. Bx squared will be for this, and the cx. I think you get the concept, right? So let's begin to represent some polynomials, just to be sure, okay? So I'll represent 3 polynomials, and all of them will be of the order, or rather of degree 2, okay? Good. The first polynomial I want to represent is x squared minus 5x plus 6, okay? So how will I represent that? It will be equal to x squared, means the coefficient is 1, right? Minus 5x minus 5 plus 6, and this is my polynomial p1, okay? So let's call it p1, not p, okay? We'll call it p1. I want to represent another one, p2, and I want it to be x squared plus 2x plus 1. How would that be? it will be x squared, the coefficient is 1, plus 2x, the coefficient is 2, plus 1, right? The coefficient 1. That will be my P2. And the last one, I want to represent x squared minus 1. How do I represent that? In this case, you may be tempted to just put 2 inputs, right? But you should be careful, right? Because putting 2 inputs will imply that you're creating a polynomial of degree 1, okay? Not degree 2. So to create a polynomial of degree 2, we need 3 values. So if I say x squared minus 1, what is the coefficient of x squared? It is 1. What is the coefficient of x? It is 0, right? And what's the coefficient, or what's the constant value? It is negative 1. And this will be my x squared minus 1. So you can apply this principle. It is the same principle for higher powers, okay? The same principle exactly for higher powers. Good. So now that we have our 3 polynomials, let's begin to see the functions that MATLAB gives us to be able to manipulate that. The very first thing is that I can evaluate, okay, the value of the polynomial at any given x concerned. So let's take, for example, x squared minus 1, okay? So if I have x squared minus 1, you give me, let's evaluate at different values of x. X squared minus 1, let me put it like this so that there is no confusion here. So x squared minus 1, if I replace x by 1, what does that give me? It's supposed to give me 0, right? Good. So I would like to put this in a comment form. We'll see this later, okay? Just to say we're working on that. So if I put x squared minus 1, the function that enables me to evaluate the value of the polynomial at a particular x is simply called polyval, right? You see that? Value of polynomial, polyval, okay? Again, it resembles. What is the vector that represents my polynomial? You see the P here is the polynomial itself. What's the vector that represents my polynomial? This is it right here, right? It is P3, right? And what is the value of x I want to evaluate at? I want to evaluate at x equals to 1. You see the answer is 0, okay? So if I want to evaluate at x equals to negative 1, I did that on purpose, by the way, because 1 and negative 1, as we know, are the roots of x squared minus 1, right? Of the polynomial x squared minus 1. But let's evaluate it at some other value. One last value. If I evaluate it at 2, what happens? It's supposed to be 2 squared, right? Which gives me 4 minus 1, 3. So 2, sorry. That gives me 3, okay? So it will work the same for all polynomials. But then something else, I can evaluate the value of the polynomial at several values of x simultaneously. So I can say, for example, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, etc., right? And it will give me, this is very handy when you want to plot, okay, a particular polynomial, right? So I can evaluate it for 1, 3, at 1 is 0, at 3 is 8, at 5. So you understand, when you replace all of these values respectively in the polynomial x squared minus 1, you replace the values of x by these respective values. This is the value you obtain for the polynomial, okay? So it's the same thing with arrays. It will give you elements by element, the corresponding evaluation of that particular polynomial. Good. So that's one scene. Another one I would like us to look at, another function for polynomials I would like us to look at is the roots function, okay? You can actually compute the roots of any polynomial in MATLAB. How cool is that? So for example, what we just saw, right? The root of x squared minus 1, what will it be? The root of x squared minus 1 will be 1 and negative 1. Well, to compute that, you just say roots and you put your polynomial in it, right? It's represented by the variable P3, right? And that is it. Negative 1, 1. Let's remind ourselves, what is the variable P1 again? 1, negative 5, 6. What will be the roots of this polynomial? It will be 2 and 3, right? So roots, let's try to evaluate that and see if it gives us just that. And that is it. 3 and 2, okay? Do you see how cool MATLAB is so far? And we are just scratching the surface. We have not yet gone anywhere. Okay, we still have a lot to see about this wonderful software. Okay, so let's go with two more. You can differentiate. Okay, you can differentiate a particular polynomial. So let's take P1 again. Okay, so P1 here, what does it represent? It's normally x squared, right? It's x squared minus 5x, okay, plus 6, right? If I want to differentiate this particular polynomial, you tell me what will be the answer of the differential? It will be something 2x, right, minus 5. Is that so? Well, there is a function in MATLAB that enables you to do that. So long as you stay in the understanding that a polynomial in MATLAB is represented by what? By the coefficients of the respective values of x in the decreasing order, right? In decreasing order, rather. Good. So, what enables us to do that is poly there. Okay, there stands for derivative, so this means the derivative of the polynomial. Okay, so if I say poly there, what do you see? 2, -5. Okay, 2 is for 2x and -5 is for the constant in this case, right? So it is 2 elements. The polynomial would therefore be of power of degree what? 1, right? Number of elements minus 1. So here we have 2x minus 5, which is the exact derivative of this. Let's differentiate some other polynomial to confirm this. So what will be the differential of this? It will simply be, no, you know what? Let's take a polynomial of higher degree. Let's be 4. So I will take something 2, 5, 2, and 3. So what is it supposed to represent? Right, is interpretation, right? So I'll have 2x, it's 4 elements, right? So it's a polynomial of degree 4 minus 1, which is of degree 3. So the higher degree will be 3, right? Plus 5 x to the power 2, it's in descending order, plus 2 x to the power no power and then plus 3, right? This will be our polynomial. Now, what will be the derivative of this polynomial? Okay, let's look at that. 2 to the power 3, the derivative there will be 6x squared. Agreed, right? 6x squared. And the polynomial, the derivative of this is supposed to be 10x, right? And the derivative of this will give us 2. Is that so? So it means that if we use polyderivative on this polynomial, we are supposed to expect another vector that gives us this coefficient 6, 10, 2, right? So let's see how that turns out. Let me put this in percentage and let's see. So what will be poly of P? And it gives me just that, okay? 6, 10, 2. The last function we would like to look at is the other way around, right? Polyint, which enables us to integrate a particular polynomial, okay? So, talking of integration, you know, it's delicate, right? If we have to integrate, there will always be a certain constant of integration that we know as K, right? So if I just say polyint and let's take our answer here, okay, let me first of all store the answer. I'll say PD to say the derivative of P, okay, so that's the answer we had. Is that so? Good. So let's try to integrate that to see whether we find this. If I just say polyint of P, okay, PD rather, sorry, what does that give me? It gives me 2, 5, 2. So it gives me 2, 5, 2, but not 3, right? It gives me 2, 5, 2, 0. So what does that mean? It has taken the constant of integration to be equal to 0. Why? Because if I have 6x, okay, if I have 6x squared if I have 6x squared plus 10x, okay, plus 2, and I want to integrate that, right? What would be the integral? Well, the integral will simply be 2, right? So it will be 6 divided by 3, x to the power 3, which will give me 2x cube, okay, plus, in this case, I will have 5x squared, okay, and then plus, what will be the last? 2x, right? Plus 2x. That's what it's supposed to give me from this, okay? But then it will be plus k, okay? If I have no interval, if I have no limit values, no boundary values for which I'm integrating, it will be plus k, right? Good. Now this k value, you are the one indicating it in the polyint function. If you don't indicate any k value, then MATLAB will automatically take it to be 0 by default. That's why we have a 0 here. So it means if I want to find our original function, our original polynomial, I need to know the value of the constant term of that polynomial. Okay, so in this case, it will have to be poly d, comma, k, which is 3. In this case, I'll find our original p, which was 2523. Okay, so we have a lot more functions for polynomials, right? We have, for example, polyfit, which allows you to fit a curve to a particular set of data. If you've done numerical analysis, you know what I'm talking about. It gives you a polynomial that approximates a certain given number of points, and you can indicate the degree of the polynomial you're interested in. In just one function, bam, it gives you the polynomial automatically. Okay, we have more cool functions. Okay, we have poly, which gives you the characteristic polynomial for a particular matrix. You can see all of that in the help. Okay, if you just go ahead and type polynomial, you will see a lot more functions. But this is a good way to start. Okay, it's a good kickstart into introduction for those functions. Okay, so I think we'll close the topic here on the useful built-in functions. You've had a great deal of introduction, and now we are ready to move on to, oh no, sorry about that. Sorry, we'll still have a last set of functions to look at. Oh my God, we cannot go without looking at that. Okay, so see you in the next tutorial. We have to see how to sort and reshape arrays. Okay. That would be cool. See you guys.